Well, good evening. It's Adrian Bridge joining you this evening from our cellars here in Villanova de Gaia. I, of course, work for Taylor's Port and also for the sister companies of Taylor's with Fonseca and Croft and Crone and various other companies that we have, because we, as a family business, have spent the last 328 years making fine port, particularly specialising in the top end of it, which is vintage port. And of course, it's my privilege today to have a very special guest join us. And the reason I've actually chosen this vintage cellar is because the gentleman who is due to join has, through his own love of port, not only created a website, but has managed, I think, to probably taste significantly more ports than most of us who are in the port trade probably ever will do in our lives. He's tasted widely, he has done so for decades, and of course he has been kind enough to record all of those thoughts and all of those tastings, along with some of his colleagues, in the website For the Love of Port. And so, for those of you who haven't already guessed it, I'm going to be joined tonight by Roy Hirsch, and we're going to have the chance to talk through some of the great wines that he's tasted. But I want to pay great tribute to Roy and to his website For the Love of Port, because for any of you who enjoy vintage port, you will find it as a source of a wealth of information about all companies who are making great port. So he's covering big established companies like ourselves, he's covering new producers who are just coming into the industry and perhaps taking their first steps in making great port. But he's been able to follow carefully our industry. He brings guests from across the world to visit every harvest. Roy's harvest visits have become somewhat famous in the Douro because he's a man that is insistent on making sure that he opens all the very best doors for his guests, and they get a chance to taste fine port and to meet with some of the top producers, meet with many of the winemakers who are actually hard at work in the harvest producing these great wines, and really gives people an opportunity to have a very enriched experience with their trip to the Douro Valley. And I think that he comes, as I say a couple of times here, I think that that's a great help. He would probably want me to remind everyone that it's not only port that he covers, but it's also Madeira, and he makes an annual trip to the island of Madeira. What this means, of course, is that any of you out there who don't want to come and visit on your own and explore, but want to go as part of an organised group, and really go with somebody with very, very deep knowledge about our industry and huge amount of tasting experience, then Roy is the person, and For the Love of Port is certainly the site in which you want to go to